Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
Last year we have been waiting in the whole line, like,
Yeah.
because it was crazy, like,
Wow.
and they open up till noon. So I don't know.
That was good. I got on the 39th Ave station there, halfway between the cemetery and Chinook. Yeah. Just parked there, and then I walked to the train station, went down 2 stops, and I got off by the.
So is there lots of parking by 39?
No.
It's much easier for you to park in Dalhousie, buy the ticket, $3.50.
You buy the all-day pass.
You go or $6.50 all day pass, which is the same price.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cheaper
You go to
than
the
DLG.
you go to the train.
Didn't know that. I wasn't.
Yeah, in months where I have to go downtown, like I know I'll be like going like 4 or 6 days downtown, I buy $100 pass for a month.
Yeah.
It's much cheaper
Yeah.
The parking in downtown.
and then so I just go to Dalhousie.
Yeah.
And Dalhousie, if you go before 8, you'll find spots, or you go after 10, you find spots. But between 8:30 to 10 is very tricky to find spots. So
Yeah. Anyhow, I took a chance at 39th. I figured, whatever was parking at Chinook and everywhere else. I found street parking. It was lucky, but there's a lot of people parked on the streets even at that time.
okay, so you wanna start
With what?
with our workshop today? We have a workshop today, that's right?
Yeah. Do we want to start? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should start. I don't have to do anything. I'm just
Is
listening.
it okay if we start?
Yeah, okay, fine. I need a break. Can we take a break? No.
Okay, so welcome to the workshop. I wanna just talk more today about sales process.
What process?
Sales and sales process. Is there any other topic you wanna discuss, or any new development you wanna discuss?
Is this the process of what you do when you walk your customer, like when you get a customer and how you walk them through?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So if I look at sales process, the very first step is I have to define the stages of my customer. So what kind of stages with my customer? So if I assume a customer, what will define a customer?
When they open their wallet.
When they open their wallet. And this is a good definition. However, we can define it in a different way. At what level they open their wallet. So if you get somebody to attend a seminar for $20, is this a customer or not yet? Is not a customer.
It's an entry-level customer.
So it's entry-level customer. So we will go with a model, and then we can add to the model few things, but just trying to intrigue the discussion now with this concept. So a customer will be somebody who pay money. So that's why we label them with dollars. Where this customer will come from, or what kind of experience this customer will have, or any individual will have, or any company will have till you reach this point. So if I have them as general here, means everybody can be a customer later on. What are the stages to get them into customer? And then from the stages to get them into customer, what are the following stages after that?
So there's the audience after general.
So maybe after general, you want to classify them as audience. Okay? Maybe after audience, you want to classify them as target audience. Maybe you want to call them lead, then prospects, then clients, then customer.
What's the difference between lead and a prospect again? Like if you hand me a phone number and say, hey, give this guy a call, that's a lead.
Yeah, so lead is
It's a
somebody
it's a
who
pro-
leaves an email, somebody who leaves a phone number, someone is interested in a discussion. Okay. Prospects is somebody in discussion.
One way I look at the distinction between leads and prospects, and there's always a gray area. A lead is somebody who perhaps didn't know that they needed this particular product or service, and you convince them. Once you convince them that they need this product or service, they fit the demographic. They just didn't know that they need this thing. Once they are convinced, they become a prospect, because now, if they're convinced they need the product or service, where they're at is, who else is out there who can give me this service, and how can I find it the best value for that, or the cheapest value? That's a prospect, because they're now in the buying phase, but they don't know who to buy it from. That's the way I distinguish the two.
I would challenge that, because a lead would be, let's say a lead is someone who's already consuming a similar product, and then a prospect would be someone who's really taking an interest in your specifics. If you were, like, you drink beer, which is great, and then so you're already in the target audience of you drinking beer, and then the lead is you're interested in, like, you go to, let's say, like a beer festival, and then a prospect is them actually at your
Okay.
table.
So
Okay.
both
I
of
agree
your
with that.
both of your definitions are rational and relevant. However, this model here has two stages before lead. So target audience are audience interested in the service. That's right.
No, I think
So, with this definition, with this model, the people who attended the beer festival are target audience.
yes.
The audience are everybody in town on this day, or people who attend festivals in a general way. So this is the definitions associated with this model. You can come up with your own definition.
Can I share my cousin with you?
Yeah?
My cousin says the single biggest difference between prospects and leads is their engagement. Leads are characterized by one-way communication, while prospects are characterized by two-way communication.
That's the in-discussion part that you said.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have these stages, you can design your sales process, and then you can look at what kind of objections or how you can. So the sales process are basically the arrows between these stages.
So I have a question. So if you're invited to do a speaking engagement, somebody else is setting up the things, you're at the target audience.
Yeah.
As long as your product or service that you want to upsell, because it's not about, because you're getting paid for that or not getting paid for that, but really it's about upselling. Is that now you have to go through the same process again for the upsell?
Okay, let's just break it to two questions.
Yeah.
Question number one: if I stand in front of somebody in front of audience of somebody else,
Yes.
this is our target audience.
Okay.
The minute I will ask them to download and provide me my email to download my free,
They become leads.
they become lead.
The people that download.
The people who download, they will come lead.
Okay.
The ones who comes and talk to me in the back of the room,
The prospects.
they are
Yeah.
prospects. Or if I don't have my selling sheets, they will be lead. So if I'm standing and selling from the stage and say, I'm giving you this free valuable report for everybody attending here, out of courtesy for you listening to me for half an hour. Anybody will go and download this report will be what? Will be potential lead,
Yeah.
because they are leads. They gave me my phone number, their phone number or their email. Now, is the phone number better than email? What are the castle implication? Can I collect emails? Can I collect phone numbers? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. These all are secondary questions. Now, if I am selling through the stage and or through the presentation, and I will stand at the end of the presentation at the door to get people to sign up. And I have now two situations. I have somebody here who signed up right away at the table, that's right, without any extra discussion. So he was a lead. He has an opportunity to sign up and pay me money, so he will become a customer. That's right, because he paid me money, he put his credit card. Somebody will come to me and talk to me at the door, and then I can get him to sign. So if somebody will come to talk to me at the door, he will become prospects. And if he is a prospect, I can give him a free entry to be a client, or I can get his credit card number to be a customer.
So prospect is like the two-way discussion that you're having.
Prospects is you are in a dialogue. You are, and I don't want to call it two-way discussion with you, because if you have a phone calling service, so a phone calling service, is it prospecting or lead generation?
Well, it's a lead generation.
A phone call service,
Phone
a,
call
a
service?
cold calling service,
Mm-hmm.
they produce prospects. Because the cold calling, what you'll say, hi, I have an offer today for this particular, would you like to come?
Oh, okay, because
They-
you would only call your leads to convert them into prospects.
Or they buy you a list and they convert them. So when I buy a list of let's call it bookkeeper, so the list of bookkeeping are target audience. The minute I buy their list, they become a lead. I access their contact. I don't have a permission, but yeah, we understand. Okay. The second question you mentioned was to upsell them. In this model, I like to make the upsell here as a recurrent customer, which is somebody will come to buy more. Okay? I can also have a referral customer, and I can have a retired customer, where somebody is not anymore in my sales program. So if I send an email to everybody about sales program or about my workshop, I'm moving them from lead to prospects. The one who will click on the link and start to put some information and read more and sign up to my program, they will become in this level. So if you want to upsell someone, I find it easier to classify them as a different way. Okay, so this is the upsell, and this is the referral, and this is the retired, and here this is the customer who pays money, and I have here a special class which I call it client.
How is that client spot occupied? Because normally if I have a prospect, I have a two-way communication, and then they choose to pay me money, that just jumps into customer.
Yes. In some models,
And I see customer.
in some business models, you have a situation where I'm offering you a free seminar, I'm offering you a free lunch, I'm offering you a strategy session, I'm offering you a discovery session.
Sorry, okay.
So if I offer you a discovery session, a free session, some kind of service which will not encumber money in exchange. In exchange, what does it mean? If I give you a free trial for my website,
It's kind.
Okay? So why it's important here to inject this client stage and how we can use it.
So it's more of a discovery, sampling.
So from arrowing perspective, I love arrowing. From from following the arrow perspective,
Right.
if I am in front of a client, what do I need to convert them to a customer? I need sales dialogues.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if you are here for free, what is the conclusion for my session?
Well,
It's an offer for you to join a program.
Right.
Okay? However, if you are here as a customer paying me, what's the conclusion of my session?
Did you get it?
Are you satisfied? Did you get it? Okay? Do you like to buy more? I have books. I have another program. I have another work. So, if you model it in this way, you should be able to you should be able to create dialogues in a different way. Okay? It makes sense? So,
Sorry.
so that's why this client is important, because the next step is how to sell them. So if I'm meeting a client for a service like a launch, like a free website, a free access, a free tool, an orientation, whatever it is, I need to have a business discussion or a sales discussion to convert them to pay money. I need to have them signing form to pay money.
So my one-on-ones, though, I would classify under the prospect category, not necessarily the client, because I'm giving them a free session, right?
No, client.
If you model it in this way, it's okay. If you model it in a different way, the one who gets them to the room will be the prospecting, because they have a dialogue,
Right.
and when they have a free session with you, they become a client.
Right.
It's okay too, because this is a model. You can basically remove stages from it. So
So my staff set up an appointment saying, hey, you got to sit down with Mike. So that's
they
become a
finish the
prospect.
prospecting.
And then when the actual the person comes in for the appointment for the one-on-one, they become a client.
They become a client. So at the end of the client session, you must have a way to convert them to customers.
Okay.
Okay, and you can split these stages as well. So why is client is important? Because it identifies as a stage or a status or a state where I can provide my service and don't predict or expect cash in exchange. How I can use it in my model, I can use it, and the application of it is I need to define here what is my sales dialogue, what I will sell. So when you stand in front of somebody's stage, you are in front of your target audience, you collect their emails, they are lead, they can talk to you, so they are prospects, and they learn from your teaching, so they are clients. The beauty of this particular model is, if you fail to get them to pay you money as a customer, what you can do?
Referrals.
You can offer them a free session, that's right. And if you fail to get them the free session, you have their lead, so you can still recreate a different engagement with them to lead them into prospects. And the fact is, you are talking to them, you can understand better about what are the barriers for them to buy. Does it make sense? So this is the sales stage. Now, you mentioned at the very beginning a very interesting situation. If I'm selling a $300 program, for example, and I want to have an entry level for financial capability of $10 to $20 event, the one who comes and pay me $20, they are who? Are they customers or clients?
So it's a $300 event, but they pay you $20?
for the intro event. So I want to do like a workshop for 300, let's call it,
Yeah.
to give it contest, and then I will give you 1 hour for $20, a seminar. So the seminar with $20 is defined as whoever attends the seminar for $20 is defined as a customer or defined as a client.
Well, it's a loss leader, right?
Yep.
It's a lead magnet, so it's a client.
It can be a client. It can be also a customer, and you want to upsell the customer for the $300. Is there any right or wrong doing it in this way? There is no right or wrong, that's right. You can do it in this way or the other way. Make sense? Now, to apply this model, what you should do in your notes is describe what are you providing to each one of these. So I can give you like 2-3 minutes so you can brainstorm about what are you providing to each one of these stages.
Is this the sales dialogue, or are we getting to that?
We are getting this later.
So what is the messaging to each of them?
What are you providing as a service? Because you are providing some kind of services, right? There are touch points or service.
And it's okay to skip any of them.
If you will skip, it means that your model does not have this particular stage, which is also acceptable. That's right. Like I had someone the other day here, and he said, I will have a calling services, and the calling service will get me a prospects to attend my event. So he basically outsourced this particular part. If this is right or wrong, I don't know, but this is what. And when you are ready for sharing, you can share it. Do you want to share?
Sure. I don't have anything in the general and the audience, but I do have in the target audience. The service I provide is free Monday morning programs. That's for the people who join me,
Okay.
or anybody that I speak or from the stage on. It's
Okay.
target audience. I provide. I guess I should say I provide workshops for the target audience.
You said you had nothing in the first two. How did they ever find out about your show?
Well, this is the thing. I get most of my leads from my workshops and target audience. So, in the general and the audience, I'm not going out there convincing people that they have a pain point that they didn't know about. I target people that already know they have a pain point in their seekers right now. I mean, I'm sure I could fan out behind that, but it's a lot of work, and unless somebody else has an easier way of doing that,
Okay.
is to try and.
I want to just pause the discussion here because I want to just, if we are using these definitions, the 15-minute discussion or the 15-minute presentation every Monday, the audience of this presentation will be called what here?
It's target, because
Clients.
Yeah, if you're delivering value.
It will be called C. So if I attend your free, or don't call it free,
Oh.
your gift, your no cost to me,
Your
your
gift.
gift, your no cost to me, your complimentary, free. We have to use this free, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
well, it's pro bono.
okay, a pro bono, whatever you call it.
Oh.
If I attend this session, I am what?
Yeah, you're a client.
I am a client.
So that, yeah. So again, so for the target audience, I provide workshops as a service.
I'm not. You provide workshops for your customers when they sign up for it.
Yep. Okay. So here's the thing. So if I'm invited to do a workshop that's already set up, and they're paying me for it, I
The
just-
The audience of this workshop are your target audience.
Yeah, but the people that booked me are my customers, or
If they pay you, are a set of customers.
okay. So
Now, if I am in front of my target audience
yes,
in a seminar or a workshop or on somebody stage,
yeah,
I have the luxury of converting the audience to lead by asking for their email in exchange of a free
okay,
token.
right,
I am in a discussion with them after my seminar, so I can get them as a prospecting. I'm prospecting them now. I can get them to sign up for my free session, or I can get them to sign up to my program.
right. So
So having the stage, inviting to a stage by somebody, you have all of this opportunity because you are with them. It's no different than a webinar. If someone invited people to attend the webinar, inside the webinar you can ask the attendees to give you their contact information. You can have a chat line with the attendee. You can invite them to a free session, or you invite them to the next level. Make sense? So this is one comment on. So if you are confused how you can start the model, we start from the customer. So what the customer are paying you for?
what I have is coaching and membership.
So you have two types of customers,
Yeah.
of paying customers, right? One is coaching, and one is membership. Do you like to have them see $1, see $2, or you 80% of your customers will come through the workshop, and then they will come to pay you as upselling for the coaching?
Yeah.
How does it work with you?
Oh, so I
And-
call them so I call them customers when they pay me for my coaching and when they sign up for my membership program.
Okay, so in your case, you can call them C1, C2. It's not a big deal.
Right.
If somebody will come and say, no, the upselling for me or the recurrent customers for me will come and be when they buy my more service, is another model we can work with as well.
Yeah, I have to figure out what that looks like for me.
And believe me, the model does not change what you do, and it shouldn't. The model should give us better clarity,
Around.
and we can enhance and better deliver what we do.
Yeah. Because if you look at the customer part, the customer could be they could take my coaching program but not the membership, and the upsell would be membership, or they could come through my membership program, and I would upsell them to coaching. So, but I could offer them both at the same time.
Okay, so you have C1, C2. Okay. Sandem, do you wanna tell us who are your customers?
Sure. So my customers are full access to my materials and 3-hour-a-week coaching.
Okay.
And then I also have, my upselling was new projects to take on, such as like a logo or a website or a brochure.
Okay, so the upselling is the actual service. The training is the customer, the upselling is the actual service. Or the subcontracting service.
That's the upsell.
The upsell, that's right.
Yeah.
And the actual one is the coaching. Okay.
So does upsell always mean more money? Services for more
No.
money, or is
No.
it just could be different services?
It's an alternative way or alternative service to get their money. So
So-
if you sell them a new book, if
Yeah.
you sell them a new
So
website,
it's another stream of income, basically.
it's not stream of income, no.
It's
It's another stream of income. Yeah. It's another stream of income.
Right. Okay.
It does not require to be more money. It can be less money.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Because what's interesting is like so I define my clients as consulting and ideas to get the ball rolling. So when I meet with a client, again, we're talking one-on-one, and I'm delivering the value of listening to their ideas and their problems, and I'm giving them new avenues that they can dive into in order to help fix those problems. Where the customer part comes in is where I give them access to my materials and I dedicate
Yeah.
time to delivering the value and working through things with them.
Okay.
And then or sometimes, like usually I come in.
If
with
you
that.
use or, it means here you will have a second, you will have one here, you will have two here, you will have three here.
Right, okay.
So
That's right?
Yeah, because I do logos and brochures and other things. I think, but the reason why people come to me is.
It doesn't matter. We don't want to talk about what's the meaning. Here we have to just limit the discussion to what is this model and what kind of touching point or service you provide. Mike, do you want to kick in?
So going back to the general, I kind of saw it as the info created, generic info to create interest to a broad group of people.
Yep.
As far as marketing.
Yep.
Audience I see is businesses that may need my services.
Yeah.
And then a target audience is a specific niche that I cater to.
Yep.
Like just because I have an ad that goes out to businesses owners
Yep.
that need an accountant, if they're 100 staff and they've got their own controller in the house,
This is not your target.
That's not my target.
That's right.
so the target audience that becomes businesses that have 10 employees or less.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And then lead, yeah, those that phone me or email me or reach out to me.
yeah, but
or refer to me.
what services do you provide at each?
I don't think it's providing, as I understand it, the first three, actually the first four is the marketing process. And it's not necessarily a delivery of service. It's a delivery of information to create intrigue in what you do. So basically you're bringing them along. So if someone finds me and says, hey, there's accountants in Calgary, and all of a sudden it comes up with a list of 20, that's one thing, right?
Is that
But
the target? Sorry.
Or everybody could see me. They could find out I'm an accountant and say, oh, I got to get my personal taxes done. But all of a sudden they read a little further and then they become into the audience section of the marketing and they go, oh, he only deals with business taxes, right? So that kind of excludes them and kind of narrows down that funnel.
But I think the question was, what service do you provide at each level?
He said information out.
Well, yeah, the service is the information, defining who I am and trying to attract the ideal client. And that becomes a way to not have to do one-on-ones with.
So what you're saying is you're at the first three stages you're putting it out there. Here's what you provide.
Right.
It would be like a.
Or you can put a blog, or you can. We'll talk about it later. But like this.
Okay.
It's a way of narrowing down, because I mean my whole goal is to have that client have that one-on-one, right?
No, I get that.
I don't want to sit down with 10 people to get that one
No, I
client.
totally get that.
Yeah.
I was wondering if the point of the exercise was, and this is why I was struggling a bit here, was to actually be specific about, okay, at the general I have this downloadable thing that when people stumble upon my website, they have this document that they download. I was wondering if we needed to get that specific in each of the sectors, or is it just a general saying no?
We will get into this. We will get into this specific. So.
Maybe I was
Did
going
I
too far.
miss this? Did I
No.
misunderstand?
No.
I
That's
don't
right. That's right.
I misunderstood.
Well, obviously you're hearing something different than I heard. So, but
So-
that's where I see that general audience and target audience is where you're trying to find,
Yeah, you funnel it in.
you're finding that broad spectrum and narrowing it down to who's your ideal client.
But the model you adopted was that the target audience will come to you. So these people here will be,
They'll already be set up for me to walk in.
they are set up for you, that's right?
Or at least that's the entry point I choose to go into. So I would look for
Okay.
targeted, interested audience.
Now, what are the other points you want to do?
What do you mean?
What are the other entry points you wanna do? So because this is a branch will be set, the target audience will be set up for you
Yes.
in somebody else event.
Yeah. Or yeah. So basically.
Or what? Because every time you say or, it will become another symbol here. So this
Okay.
will be one. What is number two?
Well, number two is I would put a message. I've got my my meetup group that I could.
So number two, they come from the meetup group.
Yeah.
What is number three?
Facebook group.
Facebook group. You got my point.
Yeah.
Okay. What is number four? ATB Bank.
No, I don't do that.
If
It's possible. Yeah.
if it's possible, ATB Entrepreneurship
Yeah.
Center, for example,
Yeah. But what I-
BDC.
Yeah, the other one is I would just go to, people who actually have audiences coming to them. Like when I did that co-webinar with.
Which is the setup.
Which is back to AT1. Because you're relying on someone else's audience to approach.
That's right.
fair enough.
So, if you have this kind of alternative, is great. The question is how you can nurture each one of these. How you can
Yeah. So
give
that-
these people more values,
Yeah. So
and
what-
how you can branch out.
Right. So what I do with each one of them is I funnel them as a client and bypass everything else because they would give me their email address and I would put them into my Monday morning espresso shot and they would go right from there. Right now my model is to go from there to become a client.
So you avoid the prospecting.
Yeah, I mean it's right there. I mean I get people to funnel into my Monday morning espresso shots.
So these people will give you their email,
Yeah, to go into the Monday morning.
and then they will go right away to be a client.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you don't do the prospecting, which is okay.
Yeah.
It's not.
I have done prospecting before that has led them to become a client. Like for example, I would say download this particular document. That's
And then join this free.
well. When I download this document for free, they would still give me their email address. They download the document. They would become a prospect, or sorry, a lead. And then in there, there would be two offers. Come and get the free discovery session, or join my Monday morning espresso program. Both of them would become clients.
So you have here the Monday session, and two is free session.
Download. It'd be download
Oh.
like an ebook or something. Yeah.
Okay. Make sense?
Mhm.
Which one is right? Which one is wrong? There is no right. There is no wrong.
Whichever one works.
And this is the bottom line is, if I structure it in this way, I can select not to do what I'm not getting results out of it. Okay. The other question usually is, what kind of forum you meet these clients or these customers? Do you meet them online or offline?
Both for me.
And what are the giveaway when you meet them offline?
So this is audience or general?
No, this is cross of the board. This is cross of the board.
Oh.
Okay?
Because
So-
you're saying there's different, possibly different things we can give them to make them a client. On
For sure, you give your business card if you meet somebody in person. So if I meet somebody in person, to convert them to lead, what I will say, here is my card, give me a call. That's right. So if you give a business card here, you are converting them to a lead. So lead one will be somebody who has my business card and I have their business card. How to convert them into prospects. One example, I will have my Infusionsoft will send an email and inviting them to my webinar, or inviting them to have a phone call, or inviting them to a coffee session. So the coffee session, I will use it for prospecting, that's right. So on Wednesday, when I was at this event, I met somebody I know for some time, and I said, okay, so why you don't get a coffee after the Summit week, so each one of us can figure out how we can help each other out of the three of us. So by setting up a coffee, I am here. The guys, they do know of me, they do have my contact, I do have their contact, but I never initiated to make them as potential prospects, and they never initiate me to be for them as prospects. Make sense? Does make sense?
I'm still saying that. So you were saying, what medium are you interacting with them?
Yes.
And then that changes how you convert them.
Yes, because if I meet you in person, I will need business cards.
Right.
If I meet you in person, I will need what else? I will need a printed double-side self-carbonized signing form. If I meet you online, what I need to get your money? I will need a PayPal. If I meet you in person, I will need Square or some kind of online access, that's right? If I meet you online, I need PayPal, I need some other of material to charge you. So the medium or where are you meeting people is very important consideration. So sometimes people will go and say, oh, we meet so many people and we never really had any conversion. Yes, if you have no conversion, what does it mean? You may not have the proper material with you.
Right, no, I get that. Okay, because, yeah, it's interesting. Most people, I don't even have my law of marketing business cards printed in full. Like, I have a couple, but I usually have just been giving my personal one, my personal business card, because they just, like, the people who are calling me, they already have my number for referrals and they already know. And then it makes me think, where
this is the models and this is the train of thoughts we'll be going through for the rest of the day.
Okay. And we're going to learn, one thing I want to learn is like creating that sales dialogue where you don't sound kind of like a dick. It was interesting. Yeah, I had somebody called me and asking me for business help. And I gave them a little info nugget and I was like, yeah, no, I actually, like if you want to make this a real thing, we can sit down for a whole day or we can do like a full month plan or I do a 3-month plan. And then I just felt really bad for saying that because he was a friend of mine and he was asking me for help and advice. But then I'm like, this is kind of what I do. So if you want actual help and consulting on your business, then I can do that for you.
Okay.
So is that, I guess that's what I would like to go through as well.
Now, so we can have multiple leads sources. So if somebody will give me his email, he will be a lead.
Right.
If somebody will give me a phone number, he will be a lead. That's right. Maybe a fax number. You know this fax has no CASL requirement. As long as you send the fax to businesses between, I believe, 10 to 4 or like 8 to 6, some specific time. Like the fax requirements are very simpler than, and you can have free faxing from your email or a very low cost.
It's not free, but yeah, that's how I have it.
No, there are some free faxing now as well. You can make like 30, 40, but you don't have your fax email back. But I was like stumble upon eFax.
Yeah, I've had that since 2004.
So eFax is another technique where you have like a limitation of 150 fax or 150 page, and then they have a 500 page limit for like $10, $20 a month, something like this.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yep. So having an email faxing techniques is easier if you have people fax number. Okay. So you can basically send faxes as a lead. What about prospecting? Like how you can get prospecting with people? You can call them using phone. You can call. You can be in person. You can prospect them online, like using Hangout or using Google Hangout or using Messenger or Chatline or any kind of two-way communication. Sorry?
A Mogo?
Yeah, Mogo or Skype or whatever. Okay. So where this is valuable, it's valuable where you may incorporate some of these prospecting techniques. Maybe you prospect them in a bar. If you are going in a meetup and the meetup is done in a bar and people there and you have your invitation for your free session and people will come, you sign up them inside the bar for the free session. Okay? Make sense?
Yep.
Now, where can we meet our audience? LinkedIn and Facebook groups are the biggest online places now for audience. Instagram, Snapchat. Is Snapchat audience or lead? Or target audience?
Snapchat?
Yeah.
Audience. Because like anyone can click on. If you have a public thing, then anybody can click on
Yeah, but if you have a group, it will be.
it. When do you have a Snapchat group?
If you'll have a group, it will be or lead.
I think they'd be clients. Like,
Function of the content. Like the difference between a prospecting and the client is what? Is how much detail you want to get into your service.
prospect. But if I had a Snapchat,
So-
if you had a Snapchat, that would just be a personal thing of you just saying, "Hey guys, this is what I'm doing today," or "Look what I'm doing," and it's just maybe. I think that would be a prospect. Or that would be a lead.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it's be. What
Yes.
matters is how you want to use it. Okay? Like for example,
Because there's these ones here. Is that
Yeah.
that's on Snapchat, or is that a Snapchat groups?
No, Snapchat groups are like, I have Snapchat groups with my friends, and there's like a limit of like 40 people, and then we just
Yeah, but there's stuff like e-news rundown and stuff like that, which are Snapchat.
Guys, I'm Erin Lynn, we've got some
Yeah.
breaking news. Justin Bieber
So,
and Haley Bone.
so what are these? Are these
regular audience of
for your
Snapchat.
audience? Yeah.
The minute you start to put classification on them, you try to make it more relevant to targets. Okay?
Like
If you
what's
put
really-
categories or headlines or the way you use this individual what's it called? Let's keep my mind. You know the hashtag.
Yeah.
So the minute you put hashtag, you're trying to you are narrowing time from audience to target audience. So if somebody will come to you through a hashtag,
Yeah.
he's what?
they're a lead.
Target? No, they are target audience.
Right.
If they find you through a hashtag, they are target audience.
Yeah. I
Right.
agree.
Okay.
If they leave you their contact or they want to connect with you on Messenger or on Facebook, if somebody will like your page on Facebook,
That's target.
that's lead. Because if I like your page,
If somebody's
if I like your page on Facebook,
right.
I am a lead.
You know why?
and I can reach you back through a Facebook ad or through genuinely or generically through a message or an event or any activity I will do on my wall. So when someone likes my page, they give me their contact. If you want to classify them as target audience, is it right or wrong?
That's whatever.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Mike, do you have questions or clear?
No, that's clear. Yeah.
Now, the question is, what is the sales process, or what is the process to move someone through this pathway? And how many alternative pathways do you have?
I think you can go.
Okay? So what you focus on is the arrows. Arrows means activity. Okay? Arrows means activity. So what kind of activity to grab audience and target audience on, for example, social media platforms?
Posts.
What kind of activity we can use on social media to create audience and target audience pools?
Posts or
If I set up
demographics?
groups,
Like relevant.
if I set up groups,
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
when I join groups, so
Oh, okay, yeah.
all members of groups
Right,
like buy and sell in Calgary,
right.
who are in buy and sell in Calgary, What-
People
what's
that
the-
are trying to move stuff.
people are trying to move stuff.
Yeah,
Are some of them business owners?
yeah,
Are some of them buyer and not my customers?
right.
Yes. So when I talk about, but what is the commonality on buy and sell in Calgary? That people are having interest to do business in the area of Calgary. So if I'm offering service in Calgary in person, I will be some of the people who are buying selling Calgary groups will be in this category. When I talk about law of transformation, or when I talk about okay, let's just pick up another example. If I talk about work from home group will be, if they are my customers as a business, as a small business owner, majority of them as work from home group will be business owner or people who work from home, or people who have service for others who work from home. Make sense? When I go to this group and I share an interesting report or an interesting piece of material, and somebody will click on it and put their email, submit their email to accept this material, it means what? They become a lead.
Right.
If you come and say, I have this opportunity and please PM me or private message me to get more details. So private messaging is converting from audience, target audience perception or perspective to lead.
Yeah.
When I start to type communication with you, I say, oh yeah, here is the offer and this is what we do. What do you think? When I ask you what do you think, or do you like to join,
Now you're fostering
the two-way communication, the dialogue, so you are now prospecting. Okay? And this is one branch. So to not getting into the overwhelming situation, what you should do is you should take this model and brainstorm where this audience will come from and what are your response. And do you have an offer ready for this response? So for example, if I put a post and in the post I say, yeah, let me know your feedback, and someone will go down there and comment, and I reply to their comment, they are what?
Prospect.
I can model them as prospect.
Yeah, because you're having that conversation.
I have this conversation. Now somebody will come and say, no, but this is, you don't have really there is no problem of doing the conversation on the comment and then ask them to connect on Messenger for a phone call, because I did not say when the prospecting stage will stop. So when the prospecting stage will stop,
And then become a customer, client, or lead.
or
Back to the audience, yeah.
they will drop back to be
Yeah, that's what I said, lead. Yeah.
audience. That's right?
Mm-hmm.
Because at each one of these stages, you should expect, and somebody will not convert. Okay? So what kind of activities you can plan here? For dialogue.
It depends on your medium.
Yeah, so you become a medium. So what's your medium?
My medium is kind of over the phone or in person.
So what you will do, so if your medium is over the phone or in person, how many medium do you have now?
Too.
Do you have a clear structure for both? Do you have a full branch for each one of those?
I obviously do, but it's not defined.
Can you define it now?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I have people who are the target audience is usually business owners and small to medium businesses, and then the lead is when they hear about me through somebody else, or they talk to me and they find out that I do this service, marketing consulting, and then when they speak to me, they become a prospect because they open up about what their challenge is, and then when they're a customer, or a client, I give them just general ideas and get them in the conversation more and inspire them, which leads to a paying customer, which is giving them the access and creating an actual structure.
Can you draw it down?
It's right here. What do you mean draw it down?
Like, can you draw it for these people on the phone?
Yes.
Then you draw another one for these people who come online. Then you draw a third one for people who come in person.
Right.
And under the online, you have to come up and say, okay, where are these target audience will come from? So, for example, Shamir, how many groups are you member of on Facebook?
5 or 6 on Facebook.
Only 5 or 6?
Yeah.
And are these all of them target
There's
audience?
more, but I'm active with 5 or 6.
And these are the target audience, that's right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how many of these groups joined your program?
On my Monday morning,
Yeah.
I have no way of knowing. I don't have a.
So this is a legitimate question. How do you know if somebody joined your program from a group, a Facebook group?
You ask them where they heard about it.
Or you have technology that track it. Like Infusionsoft has a technology that tracks where the leads came from.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the technology, you have no idea what's working.
You just basically can ask them,
You can ask them. Yeah.
you know,
Either
or you go, or if they, or you can go to the group and see the members in the group and figure out how many of
Yeah.
them
You have to
Yeah.
match.
Please.
the-
match it manually. Now, is it valuable to match it manually? Is it valuable to know? The information is there. If you see a value of knowing it, you can. Now, do you want to spend resources on it? Is a different story. Okay. Any questions? Now, we understand that under each one of these, there will be a way out. So each one of these ways, so if I have a prospect, the prospect can come or the prospect can say no. That's right? So when you come to here, reality there is no one here, okay?
What?
Retired customers, they don't like you anymore, okay? So they are not working with you anymore, so it's nothing about reality. So if I have a prospect and the prospect will say no, how can I convert them back to be a client? or will I have a second offer for them?
You could have a second offer.
I can have a small offer for them.
If there's a prospect
Okay?
and they say no,
And they say no. Like, what are the oranges?
oh, a secondary thing.
No, the oranges is actually they are exiting your funnel. So if I say this is my sales
Yeah.
funnel, that's right.
Yeah.
So if somebody will go on the orange means what? The orange arrow means what?
Means you're moving from one stage to the other stage.
No, the orange means what here? What this orange means?
Is you're moving. You're
They are
advancing
leaving.
them.
They are leaving.
They're leaving, but entering the other. Or they're
No,
just leaving.
they are leaving us, right?
Okay.
Because the black arrows will show the conversion.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Those are the leaks.
These are the leaks.
Okay.
So how can I block the leaks, and which leaks I should be able to block? Or I should focus on blogging?
Oh my god, do I have to give him shit again? That's supposed to be drinking that crap.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if I have these leaks here,
That's where you want to plug.
That's where you plug it.
there's a priority.
Right. So if you have lots of leaks in the prospects, where they're like, oh, they talk to you, but then they leave, then you got to work on how
Okay.
to prospect. Okay, I get
I
that.
mean, yeah.
Yep.
Can you measure a leaks in target audience?
Can I measure leaks in target audience? You can, because you know how many people attended, you know how many people signed up, and so you know there's a conversion rate.
Or if you have access to competitor information, and you find out that this target audience are interacting more with his lead generation, it means what?
I don't understand.
Like if a target audience in a Facebook group,
Yes.
and there are two exact offers
Oh, from two different people?
from two different people,
I see, okay.
Then there you
and they sign up for one offer against the other, it means what?
Means they're resonating more with the message on one or
Message, okay?
Yeah.
go. Okay.
If a lead gives me a lead and I keep sending this lead information and they don't download the information, it means what?
They're just not interested.
That's not lead their target audience.
No, if a target audience will give me their emails,
Yeah.
Yeah, you
and
send
I
millions
send
of
this
emails.
email address information and they don't click on the links, it means what?
Means they're not ready to.
It means they are quitting at the lead stage.
Yeah, I've done that so much. Well, yeah, you sign up for lots of things.
Okay?
Yeah, but sometimes the time constant between converting lead to prospect varies. Like there are people that have been on my list for a year, and only after a year they've paid me something. So they'll stay at the lead level, but at some point they'll convert. So
So
it's
if
not
they
necessarily
if they unsubscribe from your mailing list,
then that's a leak.
this is a leak.
That's a lead.
Okay.
If they don't unsubscribe, they're still a lead and stuck at the lead stage.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if your definition, if the lead will unsubscribe from your mailing list,
Yeah, you're back to general. Or
okay. If your definition is the lead, it will be somebody not interacting with the mailing list to be a prospect, is also a valid definition.
yes. Yeah, I mean it's a leaky funnel, but you still have them. You still have access because they haven't unsubscribed. So
Yep.
they're stuck at the lead stage. So you can still toss in the programming and bombard them with.
Or send them alternative messages or different programs. Like
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I know, like with some other groups, when we do co-marketing, we basically exchange in our system how can we basically cross advertise the different programs. Okay, this is valuable. So it's very important to understand where these people will leave the process. Now, the problem now with Castle, for example, If the lead will unsubscribe, can you talk to them again?
Not really.
Legally, no, but you can.
You can meet them as a fresh audience somewhere else,
Or a target audience.
or a target audience, right? You can meet them somewhere else. Make sense?
Yeah.
I don't want to go into numbers, because if we go into numbers, you realize the following. For me to get one client or a customer here, and if I use 1 to 10 conversion rate, it means I need to talk to,
Then
and if I assume out of 10 emails and phone numbers, I will have one prospect, I will need here,
100.
100.
Yikes.
okay?
Yep.
How many target audience will give me their lead information?
1,000.
If it's 1 to 10, but the reality is 2%.
Okay?
Okay? So the reality is,
500.
yeah, so the reality here, it will be 2%,
500.
which is
500. 2% of
5,000.
100 is, yeah, 2% of 5,000.
Oh, I see. To get to 100.
Okay? So if I put here 1,000,
Not 10%.
you understand this is a very conservative way. Because if this target audience come from ATB Bank, for example, how many suppliers for similar service at ATB forums?
I think you can get more. I think the higher conversion from target audience to leads is higher conversion, because you're not putting out any money. You're just getting emails.
If I have a Facebook group of 1 million,
Yeah, but my target, if it's a bunch of business owners, right, that would be my target. How many of them are going to need an accountant?
No.
all of them,
Hang on a second.
Well, they all need it.
No.
how
But
many of them
How
are,
many of them?
How many of them will download a book, say 10 mistakes you're making CRA? Because that's going to the lead, right? You're going from the target audience to a lead.
Right, I guess, yeah.
They can drop a business card just to win an iPad.
Yeah.
I think you can get a higher conversion rate between target audience and lead
okay.
than you can between lead and prospect.
So I will leave the conversion rate at 1 to 10.
Fair enough.
So is that fair? No, based on what he's saying, what would be a typical conversion rate for a download, a free download from that target audience?
Because
There are two philosophies here, because there is a philosophy which is, if I am bombarded by so many of these free download, and I'm not in a shopping mode, I know that I will not sign up. Okay. So how many? It happened to you before that somebody will sign up for your program and then they unsubscribe from the email after the download?
Now that happens. That's why there's a between leads and prospects is quite a.
Okay. Now the beauty of a calling service or a cold calling service, that you are shortcutting all of these numbers, because you come from a target audience or people they get their information from to here. The beauty of a seminar or a presentation or selling through presentation technique is you come from here to here. Because majority of individuals who will come to these events, they would predict they will be sold. So they are into the mindset. There are individuals which is maybe work with some of you, they say, if I search you on Google, it means what?
you're credible.
It means I am in a mood to buy.
Oh, okay.
But if I meet you on Facebook, it means what? I am in a mode of socializing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, can you explain this mode again?
What will make you search a specific information on my cousin Google? What will make you search information on my cousin Google?
Like a driver, like you want to.
What's the driver for you? So if you look for
learn more, or like
oil exchange or information on oil exchange for your vehicle, why are you looking for this information?
because you need an oil change.
And what are the potential of you do it yourself against the potential is you buy it from somebody at a reasonable price?
Time.
There is always two possibilities, right?
Sure.
So the minute I will go and search for accountant, for example, it means what? It means I'm shopping for accounting. Or I have an accounting problem, I'm looking for solution for it. That's right? So individual said if you will search on Google or you will search, you will be able to classify this audience who are searching as in a mood to buy. So when you run marketing and if you want to do paid advertisement and you do it in this way, like on Google advertisement, if somebody will search any of this information, whenever they go to any application, they will always see the same advertisement. So if you go, for example, and search Costa Rica trips,
Yeah, all your ads are going to be Costa Rica.
all your ad will be relevant to Costa Rica.
Right.
Now, I will go to a Facebook application, I will see an ad on Costa Rica. I will run my YouTube, on YouTube app, I will see Costa Rica. But if I run YouTube on the YouTube app of the TV, I will not see Costa Rica.
Because you're sending it to their family.
Because it's not only because sending to the family, because the ones who runs the app in YouTube app on a preloaded on a smart TV has a different
Oh, I
suppliers,
thought you meant like if you're casting it to.
has a different supplier than the YouTube app on your phone.
So they won't be able to detect that that phone is connected to the home.
Well, no, because like if you're doing your smart TV, that's a whole nother like
Platform.
platform.
Yeah.
Because you're not logging in from the same account on your smartphone.
If you don't log in from the same account as a smartphone, you will not see the relevant app.
Not the same recommended videos, but like, yeah, because if I look up Costa Rica on my laptop, but then on my phone I pull up something else, like if I look at my phone, let's say there's model cars or something, it's totally different
Yeah.
because they're two different.
So whoever studies psychology of buyers, they determine that if you search on specific information, you are usually in the mood of buying it.
Yeah.
And if I provide you with information, I will. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, the question for your business to be profitable, how many customers do you need?
Depends on your overhead.
If that's the only one, if you're just talking about one stream of income,
We must do it for every single
I know,
stream
but-
of income.
yeah. So, how many
So you
customers-
pick up one stream of income and say, if I want to pursue my stream of income, which is let's use the online program. If I want to sell my online program, how many customers do I need to make it profitable, or to make sense to me? Forget about what is the minimum number of customers to come to join my program to make it sustainable and profitable?
So you're working backwards from customers on.
Yeah.
Four.
So but depends on what your pricing is.
So pick up a number. We have
It depends what your lifestyle is. I mean, everything fluctuates around what your lifestyle is. What do you intend to?
So pick up a number. We need to pick up a number of the number of people who come to buy my service online, especially for training programs. If I want to run 100% online program,
So let's say $15,000 a year would be that one stream of income.
okay. So you plan to make it at $15,000 a year.
Yeah.
Now, how many customers will pay you this $15,000 a year?
Yeah, it depends on high pricing, low volume, or low pricing, high volume.
Pick up a number.
Um,
For the sake of this exercise, we just need to pick up a number. So how much is your program? $300?
Okay.
If it's $300,
mine would be for 150 people.
sorry?
Mine would be 150 people, but your $300 for your online course?
That's one of the price points I'm looking at.
I'm looking
So
at
how many on $300? Because we had the 15,000 here. $300 would be easy. It's okay. So how many?
500.
How many in $300? So this will be 500.
500.
Okay.
So how will I get 500 here?
You gotta go to 5,000 people, prospects.
Oh, by the way, the green.
500?
The green is on the client, the C.
Oh,
The
500
red,
or 50?
oh,
Is that 50 to get 15,000?
That's 500 to get $15,000. You need 500 clients.
you just tell me the number.
no, sorry, it's 50, it may be 50.
50?
It's
50
50.
times 300 will
50
give
times
you,
300
yeah,
is
will give
50.
50,000. yeah.
Okay, 50.
Yeah, I'm going, holy crap, that's not, that's
150,000, that's better.
50, okay? So the 50 is above what?
Customer.
And the green is above what?
client.
Okay? So don't
So,
multiply.
so what's the conversion rate between client and customer is really the question.
What's the conversion rate between a client and the customer?
I'd say 30 to 40%. Because you already warm them up down the path.
So it's not 1 to 10.
It's not 1 to 10, it's got to be higher.
So if he said 30% is 1 to 3. 1 to 3 like 33%, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
So 150 then.
So if I assume they are 1 to 3,
Yeah.
I will need here.
150.
And how many from customer to prospects?
Clients to
So
prospects.
from client to prospects.
I say 50% because
If we keep going with 1 to 10, 50% means 1 to 2.
yeah, I'd say 1 to 2. So because you should be able to convert from prospect to client because it's still free, and it's a higher conversion rate.
Yeah,
so
you should be able to get 50% on
yeah,
that.
so it's just 300 prospects.
Okay,
300.
I'm more conservative. I will say more, but I will just go with your numbers.
Now leads to prospects is a different story.
Okay.
Still not bad. If you say 3,000 leads to get you 300 prospects, would be about. I'd say that you might.
So 3,000 lead means you need a mailing list of fresh 3,000 people.
That's right.
How can you access this mailing list? Either buy it
30,000 people.
or
JV,
JV.
someone who has that list.
Somebody has this list and not offering the same service, or magic will happen. However, what is the timeline to sign up 50 people? They will not sign up in 1 hour, right?
No, it's spread over time, right?
So the 50 people will spread over time.
Yeah, but that's why we're saying it's 15,000 a year, so it's over a year.
Okay. So if your first year to build up your 50 and you'll get up like 4 to 6 sign up per month, this will be the target, because 4 times 12 is 48, so it's 50. So if my target is 4 a month, I will need every month here 12. I will need to talk to 24 every month. I will need to talk to 240 a month. Recruiting 240 a month is not bad, because this will be about 8 individuals. 8 individuals a day.
8 a day.
A day. So every hour I need an email. Do you understand these numbers? For sure, if you start and you build the momentum, this percentage can be much lower.
Right.
That's right.
'Cause it's like a.
If I stand in a Vegas event in front of 4,000 people, I will be easily to get the 50 people sign up. It's not hard, because the percentage is there. So this should give you some perceptions of what.
How do you get to a Vegas event like that?
It's a plan of a year to 2, and you should be able to talk to the organizations who have a regular events over there. There is a way. Everything has a way.
Let's work on that.
Everything has a way. So there are actually individuals in town who can, if you have a specific specific demographics, they have this.
Like a speaker's bureau type of people, or no?
No, they are individuals who have already established relationship with these organizations, and there is also sometimes a call for speakers.
I've seen those.
So there's so many ways you can, but before you do any of this, we need first to figure out the dynamics and the information. Okay, so to conclude this segment of this particular workshop, we have to say the following. We must understand the different stages, and the different stages means touch point and means also what? Experience. So what is the experience of each one of these levels in your service? How people experience you. We will focus more on what kind of language we can use here, and we'll script in the next event, in the next session, some language as well. We also should understand what are the conversion rates, and we should also understand where we can get and we can meet these individuals. Now, if you have more than audience, the target audience, you should be able to branch them out. Okay? So the target audience can be in person and can be online. Now the problem with online is there are so many forums and there are so many formats. That's right. There are working groups, there is groups, there are meetup groups. I can set up the group, you can set it like, so each one of you should at least have one group they can moderate or they can set up to start to clear, to have a fresh group. And the same for lead. So for lead, when you talk about the lead give you a phone, the process to move you from a lead to prospects, are you making phone calls? Is somebody making phone calls? Are you buying a service to send text messages on phone? You know this service, there are so many services right now where you can basically interact with text messages. Or are you basically ignoring the phone completely and focus more on the email? The classical approach like Infusionsoft and all the classical approaches are basically focusing on the email. One of the biggest challenges with emails is my email on my Facebook is not my actual email. They have a special email for Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. For groups, right?
Not for groups. It's basically, I don't want to get all this spam emails from Facebook to my personal email. And the same for my LinkedIn. So on my LinkedIn, I have 3 or 4 emails. So every new business I get, I put an email for it. So trying to make cross-reference, you have to understand the limitations. Do you need really to do a cross-reference? Most likely not.
It's complicated.
Okay? So do you agree on the clarity you can achieve once you have such a model? Make sense? So this is the model. The way to apply it is to plan what are the touch point or experience, what are the forums, and where I will meet them. And then if I came and find a point where, you know what, I don't have enough local leads. So how can I solve the problem of not having enough local leads? By increasing the number of exposure to target audience. So if I know my target audience, I can look at the forums where I can show more of this target audience. That's right? So for me, it's the same. Like when I did something like that, I found out that I'm now sponsored and I will have a table in the writer and author workshop event in Calgary. I will go to like speaker events. I will go to like different coaching events. So by me expanding my target audience from here, what did I achieve more? I got more leads. And more leads got me to sell different pieces to different individuals.
And that's, what if you have, let's say, what's interesting is like, let's say you have a target audience 1, right? So let's, like, they're interested in logo creation, and then the leads is 1. So they're like, hey, let's talk about your logo, or I'm interested in logo, and then prospect, you talk about logo, and then you sell them on consulting, which is like...
You cannot do that. This is the wrong application for this model.
Okay.
Because in this model, my customers here will be interested into logo.
Right.
So he will pay me $40, $50 to design a logo. Assume.
Okay.
Okay? So if somebody to pay me $50 here to buy a logo, I can make a brainstorming session here on how logos can be designed.
Right, and then the
The
upsell.
the upsell here
Dive deeper. Okay.
will be something else.
It could be
It could
kind of mentioning of your logos for different social media sites,
it could be wherever.
creating banners.
You never talk to somebody about logo, and guess what? When you show up with the money, what I will sell you? Website design.
Well, I was just curious because if it is, I know that there can be variance in the pattern sometimes.
If you have a logo as one, if you have a website, will be a second type of customers.
Right.
That's why you have so here you had a customer who buying online service.
Right.
You have a customer who is subscribing, and you have a customer who's buying one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
So these are three different customers. Each one of those will have what? At least one or two client mode.
Right.
So if you say two client approaches, like one of them will be a 15-minute Monday, and the other one will be, let's call it a 1 hour brown bag lunch, for example. For each one,
Lunch and learn.
you assume, like lunch and learn, you will assume here you have 6 different activities. Each 2 of them will get you to one of these. This is what we call it clarity in the offer.
Right.
So for me, I do have this bundle of working groups and workshops. That's right. If I want to launch a specific workshop, which will be one by the end of the month, and I want to open it to an outsider subscription, it's a complete different offer. It's not my standard program. It's a brand new program now. I have to go to market it backward. Okay? Which will create confusion. When I had my online program, it's the same thing. My online program is complete different program than the one in-person program.
Right. No, I get it.
Make sense?
Yep.
Any questions? Okay, do you want to reflect on this particular part so you can basically, we can close it down and then we can move further? So what is the biggest learning for you from this part and how you can apply it?
Well, it's actually bringing, for me, it's actually bringing more clarity to, because I still remember you telling me last time, this is not a linear process. It could go, jump
Yep.
back and forth. So having that in mind, I was able to, while you were speaking and I, while we were thinking about this, is all the things I could do to move them on the black lines, from one to the other. And then I found out that, I do have quite a bit of services that I can offer to move them from one to the other. And what I was getting confused before, in terms of how I was applying things, I would go straight from like the general or the audience right to sell them stuff. But there's a kind of process that I wanted to take through, because what I would do is if I could take them from the target audience in a workshop and say, I buy this service, what I'm doing is I'm getting maybe a lower conversion amount than if I were to take them down the funnel and get a higher conversion amount that way. So really keep them warm. So that's the kind of clarity I'm getting here.
And the only place where you can get people from target audience to buy is the bookstore. If you understand the bookstore concept, I will go in, I am interested in business books.
Right.
Yeah.
I am not interested in a specific book.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I'm interested generally, or kids book. Okay, I'm interested in,
Yeah.
let's call it in a boy kids book, like big trucks or along this line. So I will show up at the bookstore. I will be in the aisle, and I'm buying a book. So I will go to the shelf and I will pick up one book.
Right.
How much this book will be?
$10.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50 if it's expensive, that's right?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
It comes with a toy, yeah.
So it works in areas where people are interested as a target audience, and you can show. It's the same model will work in a grocery store. If you have a wedding section, so in the grocery stores or in the floor planning of stores, they try to segment the audience, the target audience, by having specific aisles.
Yeah.
Then what will speak about these products to make you to grab this product? Sometimes they have free samples, by the way.
Costco.
That's right. Even Loblaws and superstores, they start to adopt free samples. That's right.
They are, yeah.
Sometimes they have a promotion. How many of us will buy a promotion like the shampoo and conditioner and pay for one and get the second for free? They have this usually in London Drugs or Shopper or some places. How many of us will go for a shampoo and buy both?
I would do it.
How many of us will go and buy because they seen the label of 50% discount or 30% discount?
That's a whole other topic.
How many of us will buy because of the price difference? And how many of us will buy if they don't have any indication and they just have the shelf full with goods?
I think that's all part of brand equity and marketing.
Okay. There was an experience 2 weeks ago. There was a store who moved from a place to a 32nd, and the new store is huge. So they didn't have enough time to label the prices correctly. So they have a product there which was on discount, but no indication that this price is on discount. So nobody bought any of these products, right? If you see a product idle with no price, will you buy it?
No.
That's right.
No price. Yeah.
No price. Now, how they can drive traffic to these areas? By using the flyers. So the flyers is trying to get people who are generally interested into buying on a promotion to locate them in a specific product and push them to buy specific product from a specific aisle. So I will be going in looking for the let's call it the box of cereal, which is on a promotion of $4.66. And then I will see beside it a special milk or a special whatever, so I can buy the spoon now because I bought this. So in the standard market, you are exposed in this. Now when you run a promo, when I run a promo, what I'm doing a combination between client to customers. So when a coffee place, they just say 2 for 1. What does it mean? You go there, you have 2 for 1. So now I have 2 bodies in the store. So my position in the store, I have to expose you to more products. So some of you will buy the other products. Okay. What do you want to reflect on this session?
Yeah, it makes everything clear on how I need to market and how do I capture that and move everything through the funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a different marketing message at each stage to move them through.
Yep.
And different mediums that have to be used. So.
It's very hard on the medium to sell in person on an online program. And the difficult part of selling online program online is you have no full presence in front of people. How many of us will be on an online even here, we are here for like 1 hour or 2 hours together, and people go to washroom, pick up phones, like I had some my wife just called me right now, so it's very hard to collect people outside of their distractions.
Yeah. What I also realized this morning is going from a target audience, like getting invited to speak on some stage, how quickly that jumps right to could be the customer, the paying customer, or at least the client position. So now you've overstepped the leads and the prospects.
Yep.
And I never really stopped to really capture that until this morning, and that's the big aha I have.
And remember, if you even want to buy Stampede, like how many people will buy Stampede tickets at discounted price? They still need to do marketing at Max store to tell you can go buy 2 for two entry ticket and a couple of Coke for $27. So instead of paying $38 or $36 at the door, you buy $27, right? They still have to do this marketing. This message has to still being there. How many of us will open the booklet of Stampede
No.
to see what the offers are? I open them, but usually after the Stampede when I find them.
Yeah, 'cause,
Okay, so different media, different meaning. Okay, that's great. Sandon, do you wanna?
I'm just writing that down because I totally have. I literally went to Stampede yesterday and I spent $18. And I was like, and then my friend was like, "Oh yeah, there's a 2 for $25 going on at Max." I'm like,
27 or 25? I don't
yeah.
know.
And then I was like, "You literally live right beside a Max, and you didn't tell me that when I drove all the way up to pick you up. Like you're such a jerk." So, I'm so mad. I had to write that down.
Charge him for gas.
I'll go up one more time. Okay. Anyway, yeah, the medium was a.
By the way, there was an offer. All the Stampede entry every day for $40.
Yeah, it's over now.
Okay.
I know. But I didn't think I was gonna go to Stampede. Maybe.
We go and buy material sometime because it's very considerably lower cost. If I even consume 1/4 or half of it,
Right.
and I throw the other half.
Right. No, I do that. Like my friends do that with ski passes, and
Yeah.
some people buy like $300 ski passes, and then it's like, okay, well, I need to go 5, 6 times in order to do this. It's fine. It goes, but then if I only go 5 or 6 times, like it's cheaper for me to just pay each time
Yeah.
and not have the commitment.
Anyway, so let's go to the point.
So yeah, medium I really connected with is just like defining what mediums that I want to attract in, and then actually having the materials ready for each medium. And then the other thing that stuck out to me was having each process for a different category. So if I want logos, how am I conveying that logo, and how can I what materials do I need to have for each person based on them being interested in the logo, and then or like the consulting and whatnot. I was pretty familiar with the numbers, but it was interesting to see that again.
And the number are historically generated by your business. And there are people who have numbers and they can sell you numbers. The problem with these numbers, they are not replicable. If one fellow convert to 1 to 8, it's not necessary that I will convert to 1 to 8 or 1 to 12 or 1 to 10.
Because my lead to customer is probably 2 to 1.
It's great if your lead to customer is 2 to 1.
If they've contacted me, then they're in the shopping mode, and
Yep.
I just have to bring them in, sit down with them, and they sign
Yep.
and become a client.
So we will talk in the next sessions about what each one of those is looking for and what are the dialogues we can use.
that would be useful.
Okay?
Sure.
Any more questions?
No.
Can you have a break for like half an hour or so?
Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.